Hey everyone, this is Bittupan here. Welcome to Mindful Talks, where you find people from various fields like health and wellness, spirituality, and personal development to talk about their knowledge and their experiences. My today's guest is Pooja Khanna, who is a wellness entrepreneur, public speaker, author, and a life coach. She founded a platform called Begin to Heal, connecting people to hundreds of holistic wellness practitioners and healers in New York. Her company was acquired recently by IIN, which is the world's largest nutrition school. Prior to being a wellness entrepreneur, she was the head of strategy for American Express, with a career spanning 13 years in Fortune 100 companies like Microsoft, Pepsi, and IBM. She has been featured in several panels, podcasts, and radio shows in New York. Also featured in Mind Body Green, Well and Good, American Spa Magazine, and Business Insider. A lover of meditation, art, nature, and travel, she is a believer in transforming your life through inner work, which even I do believe. She holds an MBA from the Darden Business School at the University of Virginia in the US. She has traveled to almost 50 countries and hiked in 13 of them. She also speaks 5 languages. Recently, she published her first book called The Art of Becoming Whole, which is about how to reclaim our human power by becoming more conscious of our flaws and triggers. It talks about how to release disappointments and victim stories and develop a sense of self-worth by letting go of the need to seek validation from others. She is a supporter of Food for Life Vrindavan School for the past 12 years. This school educates 1,500 street kids and gives them free books, uniforms, meals, and medicines. All the royalties from this book will go towards supporting the education of these kids. Let's talk to her and find out how to release our thoughts and patterns that don't serve us anymore, how to control our emotional triggers, and how to learn and unlearn to transform. I'm excited to talk to her. Let's get started. Hey Pooja, thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you. How are you doing?
I am great. So, first of all, congratulations on your first book.
Thank you so
And
much.
yeah, since this is your first book, I should definitely ask you, what made you write a book? See, interest is one thing. Definitely, you are interested in health and wellness, but why did you decide to write a book?
So yes, while I've been a wellness entrepreneur, this is the first time in my life I'm writing a book, and the book is not directly about health and wellness as you understand it. It's a lot about personal growth and spiritual
Hmm.
growth lessons.
Yes.
So I have personally been taking a lot of spiritual coaching lessons for the past 5 years, and I've been
Hmm.
working with both a spiritual coach and a therapist. And I decided to bring together all the wisdom and learnings that have brought together from all these coaches from all over the world, into this book.
Hmm.
So I have gone through a very arduous journey of transformation personally myself,
Hmm.
and kind of the art of becoming whole is my attempt, or my platform on which I'm bringing together all those learnings out. I thought this was the best way to impact lives, just in the way my life was impacted by all of these people.
Hmm.
And so all of us in our lives, we have our subconscious mind is really wired in a very strong way to to cause a lot of unnecessary stress and drama into our lives. So
Right.
this book helps to get inside the root cause of the emotions that we feel, identify
Hmm.
what is the root cause of these emotions, and then help to unravel them and change them for you going forward. So
Hmm.
that is the main reason for writing this book.
Yes, I think your book talks about emotions like anger management and then victim mentality and all, right? So, for viewers, please tell how important is it to control or rather manage these emotions? I think our life is being created by what kind of emotions and thoughts we have. So, how important is it to control these emotions?
I think it is extremely important to control these emotions because both victim mentality as well as anger are both self sabotaging emotions. They are sabotaging you in two different ways. When
Hmm.
you believe you are a victim, you begin to feel you're the innocent target of other people's behavior or circumstances around you. You feel everybody else is out there to harm you. And in
Hmm.
India, helplessness, that feeling, that may bechari or may bechara feeling is very high in India. People feel
Right.
sorry for them very quickly. Every
Hmm.
time you feel somebody has not showered their love or attention or their specialness or if circumstances are against you, you begin to feel like a victim. And that's a very disempowered way of being. And when you are disempowered, you are waiting for circumstances or people around you to change or behave in the way you want them to behave before you can act in a certain way. And, instead, you should learn to reclaim your power, stop acting like a victim and say, irrespective of the situation or circumstances around me, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to approve of myself. And, I'm going to be happy no matter what, to realize that you are truly the architect of your own happiness. Anger, on the other hand, is always a mask. It's always masked by other emotions which lie underneath it, such as sadness or guilt. It's typically when you're actually feeling really, really sad, or you're actually feeling really guilty about something you've done, you respond with anger. You rather show that you're angry than show that you're sad or show that you're guilty. And when you get angry, you actually push away the desired outcome of what you want even further. So, people think that when I get angry, people will be fearful of me, they'll respect me, maybe my emotions will come out, but you actually land up pushing that person away further, because people don't want to deal with people who are angry. And it also causes a lot of physical damage to yourself. Besides, you shift into a very low frequency. When you're angry, you're essentially complaining, blaming, and whining about other people around you. And when you do that, you put yourself in a very low frequency of life. And when you unleash your anger on innocent people around you, or even, let's say they're not innocent, what you're doing is you're lowering their vibrations too. And that's how you're perpetuating this feeling of unhappiness or low vibration emotions across in the world. And I don't think that's fair, because you're sabotaging your own life as well as those around you. So I think both victim consciousness and anger are self-sabotaging emotions, and it's important for us to kind of overcome them, so you can move from self-sabotage to self-mastery.
So as you mentioned that, you have transformed your own life, and that is why you have decided to write this book. So I want to know, what have you done for your transformation, or rather, what's your daily routine like? What do you do on a daily basis to keep yourself healthy, physically, mentally, and spiritually?
So I actually do a lot of things. As funny as this sounds, working upon myself is like my favorite thing to do. I absolutely love it. So every morning I start with my meditation, which is mandatory. I also chant as part of my Buddhist practice. I also do my aura cleansing, and I write my affirmations down, and I say my affirmations out loud. And I pray to divine energy or consciousness. I'm not very religious, but I'm extremely spiritual. I believe the power lies inside each one of us, and we just need to light up that power. So I pray to consciousness, and I also write in my gratitude journal each and every night before I sleep. And while a lot of people know that expressing your gratitude or writing in a gratitude journal helps, how many people actually do it? It's been 3 years. I've been writing every single day in my gratitude journal, 10 things that happened in that day to me. And it makes a world of difference before I go to bed in how positive and happy I feel. I also go for meditation retreats once a year, whether it's Vipassana or other kind of Buddhist meditation retreats or other kind of things. I also take therapy or a spiritual coach session once a month. It's just like a mandatory thing. Even if your life is normal and happy, only people who are very broken or destroyed need to do it. No, each and every one of us is hiding emotions and underneath us, and it helps to have someone to speak it out with. It just helps bring you back to your center each time. And those sessions for me are absolutely amazing. So I work with my spiritual coach, which is in Core Healing India out of Pune, and I work with them as well once a month.
So you said that once in a month you do that. For how long? Is it for one day? I think Vipassana is for 10 days, right? So how long?
No. I don't do meditation retreats once a month. I do them once a year.
Okay, once a year. Okay.
I do a spiritual coach session. It's like a session with a therapist. Only instead of a therapist, I believe in working with a spiritual coach because I'm a big proponent of spiritual wellness. More than just addressing the mind. So a spiritual coach, at least the ones I work with, address things at a very deep level. In fact, the book I've written is also a very deep book, but it comes from the depths of the learnings that I've imbibed from these masters. So that's like a once a month, 1 hour a month session that I do with them. And I
Okay.
also read a lot of books. I read a lot of books on philosophy and spiritual wellness, and
Hmm.
in this category, I read a lot.
That makes a lot of difference. Even I do read, but more than reading, what I do is I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I also listen to a lot of audio books. I think that also helps, because not every time we can give time to read books. But I think when
Sure.
we are doing some other work, some right information keeps going into our brain all the time, right? That's what I do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. At least you're
And
absorbing something from it. Makes sense.
exactly, yes, because if I'm not forcefully putting anything into my mind, some negative thought or something else will keep coming anyways. So it's better to
Correct.
put something that I myself wanted. And I think meditation has definitely transformed your life, because you said that you start your day with meditation. It has transformed my life as well. So for some somebody who wants to start meditation, who has not done anything, can you suggest how to start and what benefits they can see in some time?
Yeah, so I think the meditation benefits are really known. I think every single day when you can meditate, and it's important to meditate every day, whether you meditate for 5 minutes, 20 minutes, or 1 hour, different people can do different things. A beginner can even start with 5, 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Even those 10 minutes, it's like as if you're shutting down a laptop. When a
Hmm.
laptop gets overheated, you have to shut it down so that it cools off. Your brain and all your organs, they get overheated. You're constantly running with thoughts in your mind. This is why it's called the monkey mind. And
Hmm.
if you want to shut down those thoughts, I think meditation helps to kind of just shut the world out. Even if some thoughts come in your mind, when you're actually conscious, awake, and going about your day, there are literally 200 thoughts per minute that go through your mind. You don't even realize, but in a lot of way, you're processing many, many different things.
Right, right.
But at least in meditation, even if a few thoughts come and go, let them come and go. Accept it for what it is. Let them come, observe those thoughts, let it pass. But meditating every day centers you, it connects you with your higher self. I think it reminds you a little bit on a day to day basis who you are, because your ego
Hmm.
will take you running and chasing all kinds of things for the rest of the day.
Okay, so for transformation, because I am also on my transformational journey right now, I'm learning a lot of new things. You are also learning, as you mentioned. But at the same time, what I realized that we also have to unlearn a couple of things in our life that we have learned in the past. And I want to know from you what kind of things that you have yourself unlearned, that you have
Yeah.
learned before, but you are unlearning right now. Can you give some examples?
Yeah, so I have 17 chapters in the book,
Hmm.
and every chapter applies to me. I have unlearned or lived through each one of those things myself and transformed each and everything that I've written in the book. I were my own flaws, my own triggers, my own patterns, which I had to unlearn.
Hmm.
So we spoke about victim consciousness. I used to believe I'm at the mercy of other people's behavior. I learned to release victim mentality. I
Hmm.
learned to empower myself completely. I think I would also seek approval from other people by trying to be nice. When you're trying to be nice, you're actually trying to please others. You're trying to make them think positively about you. I learned it's more important to be kind than it is important to be nice. So I learned
Ah.
to let go of the need to be nice, and I decided to focus on the need to be kind. Because
Hmm.
kindness comes from a place of love, from a place to want to connect. Niceness comes from a place of fear, from a desire to please. So I
Hmm.
decided to unlearn that. I also decided, or I also worked on, drama was a way for me to connect with people. I thought if there was drama in a certain relationship or a friendship or a connection, or with my husband or anybody, then that increases the connection that you feel with that
Hmm.
person. That
Hmm.
what's wrong with it? People close to you are going to fight. In fact, it brings you closer. I
Hmm.
learned that that's not the way to connect. I learned that there are happier, easier, more loving ways to connect with people. And I decided to unlearn drama as a form of connection with people. And that
Hmm.
was very big. Healing happens in layers, not all at once. So you kind of have to kind of chip away at it one layer at a time through each session. Every time I did one session, every time I read a book, every time I became more mindful of my behavior, I chipped away to unlearn all of these patterns that I had learned in my life.
Nice. So tell me more about your book. I mean, you mentioned that there are 17 chapters and it's all about your life. And what else can viewers, readers get from your book? What can they expect?
So the book is not an autobiography. These are personal growth lessons, which I said are
Hmm.
common to everybody. There is very little about me in the book. It's more about lessons which anybody can pick up. I'd say I think the book is divided into two different halves. One is about deep healing, where you
Hmm.
learn how to release your emotions like victim mentality, anger, complaining, release your projections, release your patterns, understanding the root cause of these emotions. I've
Hmm.
also laid out actual techniques in each and every chapter of how you can do it. So it's not just wisdom being imparted, there are actual tools that have been imparted.
Hmm.
I've also given affirmations, hypnotherapies, techniques in each of these chapters. There's also a poem at the end of each chapter to kind of just help you heal. So that is the first half of the book. And I think the second half of the book focuses on rising higher, which is to connect with the higher self through happier. How do you learn to release depression? How do you learn to be happy and learn to advocate for your own happiness? How do you
Hmm.
learn to love yourself? What does self-love really mean? We read so much about self-love. What does that really mean? How do you
Hmm.
go about that? And how do you connect with consciousness? How do you connect with divine energy to evolve, to expand, to grow, to heal? The second half of the book kind of focuses on that. So there are, each chapter kind of peels off one layer of the onion, if you may, so that you reach to the core of your being, which is the pure, peaceful souls that we all are. That lies at our core, which means we have to remove all the other layers one by one on the outer side of ourselves. And I think each
Right.
chapter kind of unravels each one of those layers on the outside. So the
Hmm.
book ends with a very pure chapter which talks about merging with consciousness.
Nice.
So,
Very nice.
and hopefully by that time it can help you to become whole. I think this is the kind of book you should read once a year, because you will forget the lessons, or in fact once every few months. I myself read my own book every month, because I forget the lessons that I'm trying to tell others to follow, and I
Hmm.
have to remind myself of it all the time.
Right.
So sometimes reading it again and again reminds you or takes you back into that moment, just like meditation. Everything just kind of brings you back to that center.
Right, right. For viewers, I'll put the link of the book below on the video. You should definitely purchase and read it. And this is my last question, by the way. Uh, Many people who are actually looking for transformation, they want to transform, but they get stuck somewhere, or maybe they're not able to start, maybe because of various reasons. So,
Mhm.
what suggestion do you have for those people who are getting stuck and they want to transform themselves spiritually?
I'm going to tell them to accept their vulnerabilities,
Okay.
accept and love their humanness, accept and love your flaws and triggers. Acceptance, walk this path of acceptance.
Hmm.
Accept I'm flawed. Yes, I am flawed, and I accept it, because that itself, denying your flaws, your triggers, denying your failures, denying your feelings,
Hmm.
denying your setbacks, keeps you stuck or trapped in a loop forever and ever, because you're so busy fighting or defending yourself, even to yourself, let alone to others. So, first, accept your flaws, accept your triggers, accept your humanness. Each time you try to evolve, realize that you're going to slip back again, because ascension or spiritual evolution or even personal growth doesn't happen in a linear fashion. It doesn't
Sure.
happen one step at a time, that now I'm going from step 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to reach step 5 and you're going to slip back down to step 2. So
Hmm.
accept that, fail, be human, fall down, rise again. That's really kind of called the dance of life, as I've written about it in my book. And
Hmm.
all that is part of this movie or this drama that we are playing in this life. Try not to take anything too seriously. Try not to
Nice.
take yourself too seriously too. Try not to take your own flaws too seriously too. Being
Hmm.
lighthearted is very important. Try to say, so what? Okay, so I failed at this, so what? Next time I will try better. So I slipped the last time, but the next time the same situation comes in or the same person comes back who triggers me,
Hmm.
this time I'm going to respond in a better way. Instead of feeling guilty or regretting the past 4 opportunities in which you failed, or you let yourself down, or you feel disappointed with yourself, focus on the next one, because that's the only thing now in your control. The
Hmm.
next time I will respond better. But the minute
Nice.
you're becoming more mindful of your reactions, that look, I realized that this past time I did not respond in the most optimal manner, that realization is growth. Even
Hmm.
realizing, oh my God, I should not have said that, is growth.
Right.
But taking growth to the next level, real growth happens when you get fed up of your own tantrums, when you get fed up of your own self, let alone of
Hmm.
somebody else. when you get truly fed up of yourself, you're going to realize you want to move forward. So, either you grapple with the discomfort of self discovery or you grapple with the discomfort of self sabotage. It's up to you.
Nice.
Discovering yourself and your own self can be very discomforting for people, and many people don't even want to read self-help books. I don't need to read it, I'm fine, because it's very uncomfortable. The process of growth is uncomfortable, but going through that discomfort or pain in the short run is so important to find stability in the long run.
Nice.
So don't give up on yourself.
Like before you mentioned about accepting, when you go to the doctor, only when you accept that we have some problem, we go to the doctor and we tell them that we have accepted, and only then the doctor can
Absolutely.
heal, right? And
Correct.
the same way we should accept our triggers and our
Correct.
flaws. Yeah, very nice. Okay,
Yeah, absolutely.
fine. And thank you so much, Pooja. Thanks so much for joining. It was great talking to you. Okay, and I
Same
think
here.
definitely the viewers will like your book. I'll mention the link below. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Okay, take care.
take care. Bye bye.
Bye.